How's it going, Falcon fans? I'm Coach Hurt. I'm excited to have you here on our first ever Anatomy of a Play. This series, we're going to be looking at a play that worked out pretty well in a game and walk you through all of the process that led up to that. Because one of the great things about football is that the plays you see on a Friday night, there's a long history to where those plays come from and why they work. And I want to kind of pull up the curtain on that process and help you see from the scouting process to practice to game what it looks like to create one of those great plays. We're going to start off this episode by talking a little bit about a punt fake that we ended up scoring a touchdown on in our last game of the season against Auburn in 2019. I think it's a great example of how this works and is a great way to start off this series. So let's check it out. When we watch the opponent's scout video, we see that they line up 8 defenders on the line of scrimmage. We also see that in the kind of punt that we run, which is what this team ran against them, they line up only their 2 corners out on the edge and the punt returner deep. All other 8 defenders were rushing on this play. This is the only punt return that we saw against the kind of punt that we were running. And when we watch this play, our special teams coordinator noticed that as soon as the ball is snapped, those 2 outside players drop back immediately, what we call bail. And when they bail, they leave all of the space underneath unaccounted for. And so our special teams coordinator decided that we had an opportunity to draw up a fake against this return team. The fake that he drew up was a simple one. We took our 2 outside receivers and started them on a vertical stem, meaning running straight ahead. And as they approached the defender, they were going to just slow down and block that defender. At the same time, while those front 8 defenders were rushing, we were going to make the 2 wings look like they were blocking and then release quickly into those flat spaces that were vacated out on the edge. We snapped the ball to our personal protector, who in this case was also our emergency quarterback and one of our better athletes. He caught the ball and quickly got the ball out to the perimeter. When we practiced this in our practice, we saw that it seemed to be taking advantage of the spaces that we wanted to attack. And so we made sure we practiced it a few times and had it ready to go for game day. During the game, we had an early punt, and because we'd only seen this punt return against our look one time, we decided to punt the ball the first time. You'll see the situation is 4th and 7, and it's on our own 24-yard line, so making the decision to punt the ball here seemed like an easy one. As we lined up, we saw that they lined up exactly how we had seen on film. They lined up 8 defenders up on the line of scrimmage, and they had only their returner and these 2 outside defenders left. And just like we had seen on film, as soon as the ball was snapped, those 2 outside defenders bailed out, leaving those 2 flat spaces open for us to attack. As soon as that play was over, our special teams coordinator knew that we had that fake available. And so the next time that it was a punt situation, which was also going to be a 4th and 8, normally that's a situation that we're less likely to go for it, but field position and the previous punt return suggested that this might be a good opportunity. And so we lined up and saw the exact same look. On the fake, we're going to snap it to our personal protector. We're going to block with our outside gunners, and we're going to send our 2 wings out into the flat quickly. And when we do snap the ball, exactly what we expected to happen is what happens. We get the ball out into the flat, and more than just the first down, our wing, also a very good receiver for us, is able to make a move and turn that into a 50-yard touchdown. And this punt return against Auburn is a great example of how the scouting process works. We watch film on an opponent, we look for tendencies, we look for patterns, we look for spaces that we can attack, and then we look at our playbook or things that we could build into our playbook to take advantage of those weaknesses that we see. And Coach Holzel did an outstanding job of following this process and ended up giving us a touchdown that turned the tide of a football game and led the Falcons to a win. Looking forward to seeing you next time here on Anatomy of a Play.